Good evening to the next edition of the Evening Rumbles. I remain the anchor Chigos here. Welcome to News Inquest TV. Yes, in today's edition, we shall be looking at some pertinent issues of great concern as it borders on our existence as a people and as a country. First in the list of today's discussion is the position of the legal luminary or constitutional lawyer in the person of Mike Ozahome. He made an emphatic statement that Nigeria's constitution is illegitimate. Wow, very exciting. Nigeria's constitution is illegitimate. Of course, as a constitutional lawyer, having practiced for several decades, I think his position could have been informed, of course, by his in-depth analysis and of course practice, and of course the challenges surrounding the constitutional crisis and the way forward for a country, of course, with such a dynamism, with such a level of plurality in terms of ethnic and of course culture. When he said Nigeria's constitution is illegitimate, from the eyes of the law, could he be saying the true position of the Nigerian states? If actually Nigeria constitution is considered illegitimate, what could that suggest? I will want to, of course, see your own position in respect to that. On the comment section, please, if you have not subscribed, I will please crave your indulgence to do so and turn on the notification button, like the videos, and by so doing, of course, you are telling us well done. Yes, we know, of course, we are going to hit the world in no distant time, but we must start from where we are this evening. The Evening Rumbles is an exciting platform where we discuss fundamental issues, of course, bothering us as a people across socio, political, or cultural variations, and the opinion of people in respect to this fundamental issue. Nigeria's constitution is illegitimate. Now, the next we shall be looking at is the position of one of the heirs to the natural heir for the governor of Kaduna State, which of course made his positions or briefed one of the media reporters that there was an allegation or rumor rather that El-Rufai will be a running mate to the Jagaban of Lagos, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, in the forthcoming 2023 presidential election. Of course, the aid to, not the media aid, but a closer allies with the El-Rufai camps said debunked such allegation that it can never be, that his own boss cannot be, of course, a running mate to a drug baron. Seeing that such position could, of course, jeopardize the opportunity of Jagaban from clicking the most enviable and the most powerful position of the country, which is the office of the first citizen, the office of the president. Seeing the enormous power that this anyone who occupies the office wields, it becomes an interesting issue to discuss. Yes, of course, should Nigeria survive beyond this year 2022 to the election year 2023? What could hamper the chances of the Jagaban or the supposed kingmaker who intends to become the king? Well, time will tell, and I will want you to respond or react to this analysis or discussions on the comment section. Please let us know what you feel or your opinions about these trending issues. Now, the second on the line is, of course, how could an average child survive in Nigeria? How could an average child, the potentials and the life of an average child be secured? Seeing the mirrors of problems bedeviling the Nigerian children, how could an average child surmount all these mirrors of problems and still, of course, live his expectations or aspirations? Could that be feasible? Could that be possible within such a society that have exposed the children to such level of vulnerability? Of recent, you saw the position of the UNICEF about the out-of-school children. Over close to 11 million out-of-school children was reportedly, of course, one of the most humanitarian crises in the history of the world. Nigeria ranks the highest of such child abuse, just to say the least. When we come back, we shall give more in-depth discussion on this. Stay tuned. You are welcome back. Yes, the legal luminary and constitutional lawyer in the person of Mike Osa Home, in his, of course, the interview granted a few hours ago, made it categorically known that we cannot continue to hide in deception. We cannot continue to shy away from the responsibilities, of course, and mirrors of problem, of course, staring at us or bedeviling us as a people. We cannot continue to behave as the ostrich, of course, which buries its head on the ground, thinking that every other part of the body is, of course, secured or, of course, hidden away from the predators or its enemies. But that in reality does not in any way provide solution either to the mirrors of problem. Why is it that Nigeria is afraid to discuss, of course, its mirrors of problem? Why is it that Nigeria is afraid to discuss its existence as a country? Why is it that Nigeria is afraid to call for referendum? In his statement, he clearly made it known that the current constitution is an illegitimate constitution and could not in any way foster or reintegrate the, of course, already battered and shattered system called Nigeria. That people are grieved, and the level of imbalance and injustice harbored by this system is, of course, unbearable. Citing, of course, uh, example from what happened that revolutionized the American democracy. That in America today you can, of course, be proud to see the principle of social justice taking its course. That in 1788 in Philadelphia, where, of course, people has to gather to discuss and chart the way forward for America. Over barely 200 years, of course, that constitution is still serving the people, can still protect the interests of an average American, can still protect the interests of every child within the American system, or within the shores of America, which has, of course, 52 United States, and each region or state control its resources and develop at its pace, which, of course, has fostered relatively a stable democracy, which is, of course, the longest democracy in the history of the world today. And they are leading champions, of course, starting the way forward, and the highest defenders of democracy and fundamental rights. How could we move forward? How could we expect a change of events while we still hold on to the past, while we still hold on to issues, of course, that is limiting us, that have stuck us in the wheel of motionless? He said for Nigeria to move forward according to the constitutional lawyer, that this current constitution must be abolished, must be of trust, and a new, of course, constitution that is people's friendly, that people could, of course, be proud of, should replace. Otherwise, Nigeria will continue to sink abysmally, and things, of course, will never get better, and we may not get out of this woods in time, if at all there is any hope of getting out anytime soon. So if you must start a way forward, you must lay foundations. If you must build a house, you must take what it takes to set up the house, and the of course the capacity of what such house would contain. If the constitution probably have served the military tyrants era, it could no longer be feasible in a democratic setting. The constitution was mainly a template drafted by the military, juntas, to control and subvert the will of the people and the fundamental rights of the people. How could we, under democracy, uphold such a destructive document that was orchestrated or engineered or scripted by a supposed enemy, the enemy of democracy? It is high time, of course, we reconsider the position of the constitutional lawyer, which is a very sound luminary or legal luminary in that respect. It is time, of course, the powers that be reconsider the position they have held up to now, that Nigeria's unity is not negotiable. On what basis, on what circumstances? What should have informed that position? How could you continue to hold on to things that have not been working? How do you expect a different result while you continue to do the same thing year after year? You can imagine a constitution that allows pardon of the budgets, and of course without any check or balance, and people get away with that. You can imagine a constitution where of course there are misappropriation of our commonwealth, and accountability is not of course given, where money that was meant to build infrastructures, facilities like health care systems were diverted, of course, to private or personal coffers, and millions are dying as a result of mismanagement and inability to execute such lofty projects. And yet, the perpetrators of this heinous crime have not been brought to book. A system that does not recognize equity and of course does not in any way support coherence or coexistence among the ethnic nationalities. You can imagine a system that is so divided that even within the Nigerian state, people could be identified based or considered for jobs, for political appointments, based on their ethnic nationality, based on their tribes, based on religion, which invariably means that there is no, of course, true nationalism or patriotism. Where, of course, most people could be asked, why should you leave this part of the country that you don't belong to here, while you are a supposed Nigerian country? A system that, of course, is very destructive. And I believe that I think people have been clamoring for a total abolishment of this constitution, because it does not in any way serve humanity. It does not in any way serve the interests of the people. A constitution where, of course, all powers are reserved at the federal level, where of course even the states has no right to control their own resources and develop at their own pace, and you call them a federating unit, but in action they are as in-depth as whatever you might think of. And it's very unfortunate. A constitution that only allows the governors to move down to Abuja on monthly basis to collect stipends, of course, as beggars, and why, of course, behind their backyard lies natural resources and human capacity that would have turned around the fortunes of those states. Very unfortunate. You can imagine Zamfara endowed with gold, and the people are impoverished, the people are vulnerable, of course, to the antics of the political elites who take undue advantage of the constitution to rip off the people. Would such constitution be allowed to continue? These are fundamental issues. And what do you think about the position of the constitutional lawyer? Are you in terms with his position? And how could we ensure that expectations or that recommendations becomes a reality, not just saying that of course it is illegitimate? What are the ways or the moves we can make, of course, to draw the attention of the those within the corridor of power, of course, who has been beneficiaries of the flawed system? Could they be willing, of course, without any fears, or could they be compelled to do the needful at this very important time we're in? What should be, of course, paramount to Nigerians now? Is it the 2023 election or the constitutional review? That is very fundamental. And if we fail to, of course, address these nagging issues of course, such magnitude, it means we are not getting anywhere. It doesn't matter who occupies the Oval Office. From 2023, there will be a repeat of history, and things will not get better. I think it's right time we all assembly, whether you're in diaspora or within Nigerian state, of course, to throw your weight in support of the position of Mike Ozehome in respect to the Constitution. That invariably suggests that we don't have Constitution if it is illegitimate, in the sense that it was not a reflection of the people's position. It does not serve the people. People do not have input in the act of governance or policy making, which of course affect virtually every aspect of their life. How could such system be allowed or be forced on us? That is very fundamental issues we must not in any way, of course, disregard at this time. Now, next on our list is, of course, the trending issue about the drug baron. Who they refer to the drug baron, and how do you think that could hamper the possibility, if at all there is any chances of clinching into power comes the year 2023? Could there be any other hidden agenda for sponsoring such news out, of course? As it stands now, it's hitting the media, it's hitting the internet. I cannot be a running mate to the drug baron. How could this, of course, hamper, of course, the chances of Ahmed Bola Tinubu in clinching to the most enviable seat of the office of the first city? How could that narrow his chances of emerging as the president of the Nigerian state? Could that be a mere political propaganda sponsored, of course, to tarnish his political image, or to, of course, distract the goodwill he might enjoy from the people? Or is there any element of truth in respect to this position? I will want, of course, to hear your own points of view on the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos so that we can continue to, of course, and turn, of course, the notification buttons, and in doing that, of course, there are better days ahead for every one of us. Yes, this is very fundamental. Though Tinubu has just made his position, of course, declared his intention to run for the most enviable position in the state, and has not in any way disclosed who should be, of course, his running mate in this noble cause. Well, in the course of time, I think the rumbles will continue to unveil, and we expect more intriguing and exciting moments in the history of the Nigerian politics, where the supposed kingmaker is now interested, of course, to become the king. Would that be a possible reality, or do you suggest otherwise? What could you, of course, make out of this? Well, you can make your intention known through the comment section, and I will take it from there. Okay, that is fundamental. with respect to, of course, the rights of a Nigerian child. In the face of this unfortunate, of course, approach, and the West, the society, the unfortunate policies, and the indifference of the current government to the plight of an average Nigerian child. How could that foster, of course, occur with this level of abuse and excessive mismanagement or misappropriation of our Commonwealth, where the budget runs into trillions and the interest of an average Nigerian child was not captured. More and more children, of course, are thrown out of these classes. Most families, or most, of course, parents could no longer afford to keep their children or wards in the classrooms due to, of course, financial constraint or the economic mishap. And yet the government and the political elite are living lousy lives at the expense of the future of these children. And it's very unfortunate. And how could we continue in such level of dehumanizing? Of course, actions against the supposed, of course, leaders of tomorrow. When Nigerians, of course, fail to pay attention to the plight of a Nigerian child, does that, of course, suggest that Nigeria is at the verge of unimaginable crisis? Because once the child's future is not secured, what can you tell about the future of the child? Yes, we hope to continue this discussion in the next subsequent edition. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the videos. Remain blessed and good night.